Hi, Art Teacher here with you again. And be sure to do your subscriptions, your likes, share it on Facebook, all the YouTube stuff that we talk about. Now I'm doing sketchbook activity number 4. And there's a thing about these sketchbook activities I really wanted to make more clear. Now I mentioned it, but I want to make it more clear. So you can use these ideas for more than one drawing. You can try all different kinds of variations with this. I did one on abstract drawing, realistic drawing. Then I did one like this with the concentric sun pattern. You could do 100 drawings based on that. Now today, what I want to do are, I want to talk about abstract landscapes, where we're abstracting or taking from the landscape idea based on the cypress tree. So, let me show you a little drawing, then it is a pencil drawing, then I'll show you a little crayon drawing, and we'll go from there. So, I drew this up just by way of example. These are fun to do, they're kind of easy to draw, and I started with this one. I'm doing 3 of them, one on each side, one in the middle. I'm adding checkers on this one, and I'm doing a lot of different things with those. The variations are endless. And then here I have a page with 5, 6 different drawings on it. And we'll get a little closer look at some of these. Okay. This one has 5 trees. I try to stay with an odd number of trees. That's typically what is suggested in good design, although I don't do that religiously. I like that one a lot too. Anyway, I'm using a lot of color ideas on these with crayon, but you don't have to stick to pencil and crayon. I've done all kinds of media with this subject. And I have here a small one I did a long time ago. This is many, many years ago I did this. And what I have is I divided the space up into these little squares, and I'm doing all kinds of little drawings of the trees with one of these tiny sketchbooks that I like. Okay, let's go into this. And so you saw a few examples. I'd like to show you how to draw these cypress trees using pencil, then using color. Then talk about that first one I showed you, which has 3 trees on it and what the design is, using borders and what are some of the design elements. So, what I need you to do is get your sketchbook out. You can do this one with just pencil and your sketchbook. If you want to have crayon though, you can take off and do a lot of stuff with this cypress tree idea. So, here we go. I have a large sketchbook this time. And when you draw one of those cypress trees, well, let's do it this way. If I draw one of those cypress trees, it's I started with like a letter U. Like that. Then kind of make it come down. Maybe not so evenly. It's not perfectly symmetrical. If you want to draw a line up the middle, you can. Then make it kind of come up like this. Again, we're not going for perfect symmetry. And you're going to have it come up and get jagged and come back down here and there. And at the bottom, you're going to do kind of a trunk. And when you do the trunk, just kind of a curved little line there and there. Then I make this come out for the roots. Do kind of a C shape here. And have this root come in behind it. And that little thing there is important. Let me go into that a little more. If I'm going to draw those roots, I've got the trunk coming down like that. I can have kind of a C shape right here, okay? Then maybe have a root come down this way. And then have one going behind it like that. then this comes up, and you don't have to make that perfectly straight, but that root idea where this line here stops at the edge and this one's in front is a pretty good idea for the roots. Okay, so on this I've just drawn out my cypress tree. Well, let's make a little border around it here. And then you can do shading however you like, but make a line behind it like this. And that line behind it, that's going to be the hill. That's behind it. So it's overlapping it. And if you want to, you can make a little shadow coming down here so it looks like the sun's right behind it. Darken in this stuff here. You're going to try to make it symmetrical so that that makes it kind of interesting. And you can do a variety of things. I could leave this white if I wanted to and do what I call negative space. Now I did a whole video about negative space, but I could do the sky darker and leave the tree lighter if I wanted to. That would be one idea that I could take. Or maybe just this part of it I'll leave lighter, and I'll make this be the core of the shadow right up the middle of the tree. And it can get a little scribbly on this. You don't have to do absolutely the most careful drawing, although you can if you want. You have a lot of freedom with this. What I'm doing is giving you a basic sort of subject matter and design, and you can use your own sort of shading technique on that however you like. You can go back and look at my value series. I have 3 videos on drawing value using darks and lights and shading using a pencil. So this is just one idea you could use where you're doing some negative space shading around the outside, leaving part of the tree white, then have a core of the shadow, and then this be a little bit lighter. Okay, you can do that kind of stuff, or as I had in my first drawing, you can see I left this one almost all white, and then I'm doing negative space drawing and darkening in parts. Here I left part of it white and did negative space drawing around it in little cores of the shadow on that. And then you could add decorative elements like checkers. Here I did a little diamond above the tree on top of it. And that's a possibility too. Try a triptych or a 3 rectangle composition, one next to the other. Put one tree in each of these. Then add the shading on it like that. And you can shade in the hill area however you like. Here's a funny thing. I left the shadow white, and the cast shadow down here, and I shaded in the area around it. That's the opposite of what you'd normally see. Then I did it the normal way here. You can have fun with it like that. There's tons of different ideas that you can use in this picture, these abstract landscapes. Once you've done a couple in black and white, then get out your crayons, and I'll show you how to draw one of these trees using crayon, and there are 5 examples there. So, you get your crayons out, and like always, I like to get a few different types of one color. I have 3 different types of green here, and a couple different types of brown. So that's what I've done. That's why I like to have that big box. Okay? That's going to be helpful. So let's go back to this page, and I'll go ahead and, uh-oh, dropped one of those crayons. I'll go ahead and draw out the, and it gets a little bit scribbly. Sure, that's fine. That works okay with this subject matter and this type of drawing. So I'm going to do a little tree stump. Again, I have those 3 roots right there, and it's the same idea I talked about over here. Then I'm going to have it branch out just a little bit right there. And then I'm going to get one of my darker greens. They're calling this one asparagus. I do like this. It's similar to that olive green. You know, when you use paint, they have one called olive green, and a lot of people like that. So I'm going to get that U shape again, just like I did before. Then have it branch upward like this on both sides. Maybe this will even float out a little. Now I'm going to try to get a different green in here, and I'm mixing some of my greens together. That one's a real bright green, so I need to be a little careful with that. And this one is called yellow green. Oh, that ought to be interesting. And I'm mixing them and keeping that unity. Of the three greens I'm using, my favorite one is this one called asparagus, so I'm going to focus mostly on that. And then come up to the top. They're not perfectly symmetrical. Again, I don't go for perfect symmetry on these. And I have these little branches popping out like that, pointing upward, like a cypress tree. They have those that are common in Italy, but here where I am, in Arizona, you see them around here as well. They have a place called Arco Santi, and that's an architectural site by a guy named Pablo Soleri here in Arizona. You could Google that. Let me Soleri, S-O-L-A-R-I, Soleri, and you can look at Arco Santi. They have a lot of cypress trees up there, because that guy was from Italy, and he liked the cypress trees from his home in Italy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm even going to put a little bit of brown in this tree. You can do that. You're very free to do it how you like and experiment with many different things. Definitely need a line going behind it, and that's going to be the hill that he's sitting on. Now I'm going to pick out a dark crayon. How about, oh, gray. I love gray. Well, they're calling this one manatee. It looks like a type of gray, though, close to gray. Gray makes other colors look good because it's so neutral. It's a foil for the other colors, which is nice. Now I've got shadow. This one's called shadow. I guess it's a darker gray, and I'm going to put some of that on there. Then I could color in this area here, and for fun, why don't I go ahead and get some reds to do that. So here's some pinkish reds. Just see how that looks. Maybe that wasn't the best idea, but we'll see. It might turn out okay. The thing is, you're experimenting with different color combinations with these drawings. You can make the sky yellow, the ground red, however you want to do it. Leave some stuff white if you want to. I'll leave some white areas there. And I mentioned yellow sky. Why don't I grab a few yellows? Uh-oh, one of my crayons already broke. That's okay. Oh, that's a very bright yellow. That's a little too bright. I like this mellow one here. There, this kind of peach color. And I'm only going to do the area right around it. I'm not going to go all the way out to the edge. Maybe I could put another color around the outside. If I wanted to, I could add some hatching, some cross hatching, and things like that I've mentioned in my other videos. Maybe around the outside here I could do a little hatching. How about with some blue? So I'm very free to do whatever I like on these, practicing different techniques, mixing things together in interesting ways. And I'm even going to put some of those little circles. The idea is get creative with it. And what I'm giving you is a basic design idea and a subject matter, these trees. So what I'm saying is, and let me sit down for this. Hey, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, what I'm saying here is, you now, if you practice that tree a couple times, remember, just start with a U shape at the bottom. Make sure it's not perfectly symmetrical. Make some of these come up in a jagged way, up toward the top, all the way up. Okay, then add that trunk the way I showed you how to at the bottom. Draw a simple line here going behind the tree. And an interesting composition is to have 3 of them like this. Maybe put something up top here, a diamond, a circle, whatever. Use checkers, use hatching and cross hatching all throughout there. You can do a lot of interesting things with the color. So, as I mentioned here, I have a great variety of different things with color. A gray and yellow sky on this one with a red and pink ground. This red, orange, and yellow sky, even with a little purple here, with the green trees and stuff. This one I concentrated more on the border and I left some white. You could try 5 trees, 1 tree, 3 trees, however you like to do it. So there's a lot of different color ideas you can experiment with. If you wanted to, you could do 5 per page, 10 per page, divide up the page in different ways like that and do a bunch of sketches. Or if you wanted to, you could just do one big one and do it real carefully and make it look as nice as you could. Make those trees look very 3D using the value idea that I shared with you in the value series. So, what I want to do is just review my sketchbook idea for today. You're going to need your sketchbook and a pencil. Those are the only 2 really required things. Sketchbook and a pencil. It's helpful and nice and fun to have a nice big box of crayons like that. I've been enjoying this big box of crayons a lot. So that's helpful to have. But really required is just pencil and sketchbook. Then, get your sketchbook out, find a page, divide it up into 3. You can do it freehand, or when you draw your border, you can do it like this. Take your pencil about 1 inch down and just rub it against the edge of the page. You see? That's one way to make a border. Just take this part of your finger, rub it against the edge, and you can get a straight line all the way around, and it's going to be the same distance from the border to the edge of the page. And it's going to be perfectly straight. So you can make a border doing that. Then divide it up into 3. It doesn't have to be perfectly equal, but you can measure if you like. Then use the letter U to make the bottom of the tree. Then do that jagged line all the way up to the top and make your tree. And the trunk, the way I showed you, put a line going behind it like this. Then you can do shading in any way you want. You can do hatching, cross hatching. I did checkers on this one. There's a great variety of different things that you could practice and try and see what looks good for you. If you're feeling like trying some color on it, you could do a whole sketchbook with these trees. Believe me, this is a good one. You could learn a lot about how you like to use color with this. Okay? Because you can experiment on many different pictures, seeing the types of color combinations you like. You know, what expresses what you like about color. What are the color combinations you like to use, okay? You can get in touch with that with this assignment, and you can develop yourself as an artist, you know, with a personal sort of style and vision that way. Self-expression and creativity, right? Trying a lot of different things, seeing what you like and focusing in on those types of things and refining that. That's what's nice about having a sketchbook. A lot of people get a sketchbook, they want to draw like a lot of anime and what's it called, manga, cartoon characters and stuff like that, and that's fun, that's good stuff. But try to do some other stuff too. Think about composition and design the way I showed you there. Okay? And think about how you like to use color and all of that type of stuff as well. There's a lot that you can do with this one. Just take off, do a bunch of these. You could fill a whole sketchbook with this idea. Give it a try. I think you'll enjoy it.